Hey guys, what's up? Nick here once again, and today's video is going to be kind of interesting. I got some really juicy tidbits of information or drama, I don't know what you want to call it for this video, so strap in tight and stay tuned for that. Before we get into the juiciness of the video, probably based off the title and or thumbnail that got you to click on the video, I promise it's not clickbait, we'll get into it soon, but I did want to talk about some other stuff during this live commentary. The first thing is that in case you didn't see my multitude of different posts or updates, I guess, through the community tab or my Discord, we now have a merch store that is open for business. Now, I know the channel isn't huge. I know I'm not like a super millionaire streamer or nothing like that, and I never don't expect to be, but I just figured, you know, I've been wanting to open up a merch store for a while just to get some like Twisted Metal related merch out there, because there really isn't any. I mean, there is some stuff. You can look up like old Twisted Metal, like 2 release shirts and stuff like that, but they're really expensive and they're rare, like one-of-a-kind items. So I wanted to create some Twisted Metal related merch that, you know, obviously related to my content and the streams and stuff. And we got some stuff made specifically for the merch that I'm very proud of. I absolutely love it. And I hope you guys check it out. I'll have a link to the merch in the description below, and it will forever be in every description of every new video. So if you ever want to check it out, there'll always be new stuff kind of coming and going through there as well, so be on the lookout for it every so often. I also talked to somebody as well saying that I think my goal is to have like some merch drops happen every few months. And that's probably being a little bit like too, what's the word, just like optimistic. It's going to be more than likely like maybe every half a year, maybe even once a year at this rate, depending on how the growth of the channel goes, of course. But I'll try to add some more merch here and there, some new merch ideas, and I'll probably still talk to the same artist and have them create some new designs and stuff like that for different shirts and, you know, all that stuff. That'll definitely be coming in the future. But for now, what we have on there is what we're going to have for quite a while, and I hope you guys enjoy it. We've already had some people ordering stuff, which is awesome to see. I've already ordered a huge bundle that I will be showcasing on my streams and maybe in a future video, who knows. But either way, I'm super excited to see the merch in person and to see you guys wearing it as well. If you do end up purchasing something from the store, please be sure to either tag me on social media or post it in the Discord. I love to see it in person. It'd be really cool. So that's the merch update. The next update I want to talk about is pretty important, I think, anyway, and I think you guys will really enjoy this update. I think it's going to be good, not only for you guys, but I think just for the channel in general. I have made the executive decision to remove mid-roll ads from every single video on this channel, as well as, of course, every future video. So what is mid-roll ads, you may be asking? Essentially, they're advertisements that play randomly throughout my videos. And you guys know I make longer content on this channel. Most of my videos are anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes long on average, depending on the content. And those are like smorgasbords to YouTube, basically, for extra advertisement placements, which in theory could be better for the streamer or the YouTuber because, you know, more money based off clicks from the ads that play during the videos. However, from what we've seen, or what I've seen at least from like my own experience as a viewer of YouTube channels and from other YouTubers making content or videos talking about this exact topic, is that mid-roll ads cause more people than not to leave the video. Because they just don't want to deal with them. And I totally get it. I'm also one of those people, and that's why it might be sacrilege as a YouTube content creator, but I don't care. I use an ad block, and I don't want you guys to feel bad for using an ad block either. Yes, that is where, like, you know, most of the ad revenue comes from with YouTube, is through advertisements. And if you use an ad block, you know, I'm not making any money, but I make money and I get support from you guys more than enough, I will put it that, from memberships and through my streams. So I really don't need the ad revenue, if that makes sense. And this channel was never meant to be a cash cow, like a money grabbing channel. That's not the point of this channel. I just want to make content that I enjoy and that I hope others enjoy watching as well. So yeah, that's why I figured, why the hell not? Just let's get rid of the mid-roll ads. So that'll make the viewing experience much better. I know most of you probably use ad blocks and this isn't going to change anything for you, which is totally fine. But I know some of you out there watch my videos on the TV or on your phone and you don't want to pay for YouTube Premium. I'm one of those people. I refuse to pay for YouTube Premium. So this will stop you from having to deal with advertisements randomly throughout the videos. There will still be ads, of course, at the beginning of the video and at the very end, but there will no longer be ads playing throughout the video. I hope this update will make you guys happy. I hope that it'll help with maybe if there was a video that you ended up not wanting to finish because it was a longer video of mine just because of the ads. Well, now you can go back to it and check it out and not have to worry about them. So, yeah, you're welcome. Take that, bitch. All right, and now on to the meat and potatoes of this video, the main reason you probably clicked on it to check out what's going on. So I had a really interesting person pop up into my chat the other night during one of my live streams. Yes, I'm about to shamelessly plug my Twitch. I don't care. If you want to check out my live streams, check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/vicariousnick. Obviously, I also stream on YouTube as well, so if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed, make sure to do so you don't miss the next one. But that being said, during my last live stream, I was doing some speedruns of Twisted Metal 3 that we're playing here for this video. And no, I'm not speedrunning right now during this, that would be very difficult. But during my speedrun, I had a really interesting person come into my chat that claimed to be a developer for Twisted Metal 3, which, you know, is pretty cool in just hearing that. But as you guys may or may not know, I've also been pretty close in touch with some other Twisted Metal developers from back in the day in the Twisted Metal Federation Discord. By the way, check it out in the description below if you want to become a part of the fandom outside of these videos. And they're super sweet guys. It's been very fun over this past year learning the ins and outs of these games and how they were created and what basically has never been shown to the world until now. And that being said, meeting or getting to talk to this new developer that I've never really heard of, it was actually kind of eye-opening because they gave some new information that I could not find for myself after the video, after the stream. I went looking online to see if anybody else has talked about this or like had any Reddit posts about it or really anything, and there was nada. There was nothing. So I'm going to show you guys screenshots so you know I'm not just making this up. And I also want to preference that I didn't necessarily get a lot of responses from this guy. He only said a couple things in chat and then just kind of dipped, which, by the way, I'm not blaming him at all. That he has a life, probably. He has probably kids and a family. Like, you know, he's not my age. So he's probably new to the whole YouTube crowd and streaming and all that. So I don't blame him at all for this, by the way. But I just wanted to say, like, off the bat, obviously there's some things that are like out of context and won't make much sense, but I'll try to explain it as best I could without you having to just go back and watch my entire VOD to see the full conversation between me and his replies. So the gentleman that came into my stream, his name is Kolbe Launchbow or Launchbew. I probably am saying it horribly wrong, and I do apologize if he ends up watching this video. But he was the assistant producer for Twisted Metal 3. He also claimed that he did work on Twisted Metal 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this man has pretty much seen it all, and he's worked with, obviously, pretty much anybody that we know and love from the Twisted Metal universe in terms of the development behind it. So it was kind of cool hearing this new person in my chat that I've never talked to before saying that they also were a developer of the game. And as you may or may not know, I am a big fan of these games. I still, to this day, praise TM3 and 4 for what they accomplished in their very short development time and getting through all that crunch and whatnot, and I think they're totally fine games. Are they perfect? No. Are they the greatest games ever? Hell no. And I'm not going to be blinded by nostalgia saying that they're amazing or they're the best games in the series. No. But I still think they have a special place in my heart, and they have a charm to them that you just can't beat by any of the other ones in the series. But this video is not me, you know, dick riding TM3 or saying this is the best in the series or anything like that. So let's get back onto the topic. So Kolbe comes in the chat under the alias Kill Corridor. At least I believe that's how you say it. A very interesting name. I thought he was a troll at first, I'm not going to lie, because basically the first thing he said was just that that's how we made it, which was in a response to, I was talking about how it was interesting where if you drill somebody as auger, you can rear attack and do extra damage to somebody by shooting them from the front. It doesn't make any sense, but apparently the hitbox is so large that even if you're rear attacking, the missile will still attack the person who's being drilled in front of you, which is really helpful for speedruns. So when he came in a chat and said that, immediately my radar went off like, wait, we made it that way. That kind of tells me like, wait, you worked on the game? And sure enough, that's when he explained who he was and that he was the assistant producer for TM3. Then as some more time went by throughout the stream, I asked a couple more questions, and again, he was really slow to respond. More than likely, it was just he was kind of coming and going probably from the stream. He wasn't just totally eyes glued to the screen or anything, which is, again, totally understandable. But eventually he came back and he was even telling me, like, it's interesting that you're speedrunning this game, and I don't think I've ever watched a live stream of this, and then it's really cool. And he even stated that apparently one of the testers of the game beat it in 15 minutes, which, if I'm correct, would be like second place in the world for this current speedrun record. So pretty cool. I don't know who that guy is, who the tester was, but it'd be cool to maybe go head to head with him sometime in a speedrun. So if you're watching it and you're the person he's talking about, hit me up. But then he also explains that he is the person behind the character Roadkill, which is the reason I'm playing them right now in this video. So the actual artwork for Roadkill is a picture of him in makeup, which is pretty dope. So that was kind of fun to see that, or to hear that. Then in case you guys didn't know, most, if not all of the characters in TM3 were modeled after actual developers from the game. That was just kind of like an inside joke thing that they did, which is really cool. Even some of the names of the characters are actually based off the real life developers. And yeah, so this was the real life version of Roadkill in my chat. And then, of course, we started talking about the crunch of the game development. I kind of asked him a couple questions of like, so what was your like hardest thing with this game? Or like, what did you feel bad that it got such bad reviews when it first came out? And he was actually kind of on the side of like, well, it was actually successful in the ratings, and that's all that really mattered to him. And he kind of ignored the ratings in terms of like reviewers or like the community at the time. So somehow this developer stayed away from the toxicity that was the Twist Metal fandom back in the day. And he just kind of assumed that everyone loved this game based off the sales. So I kind of informed him that that sadly was not the case, and that these games were heavily shamed by most of the fans of the series, and that's why TM4 kind of suffered in the sales department and all that stuff. And yeah, so it was kind of interesting hearing that from a developer, and kind of hearing that they thought it was actually a really big success when, yes, it was in sales, but in reality, it was kind of a bummer to most fans of the series. But then this is where he dropped a bombshell, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, because I'm going to be going into speculation mode now, a little bit of conspiracy theory, if you will, because again, he kind of just dipped from chat after this, and maybe he kind of realized he may have slipped some information he shouldn't have. I know a lot of these guys, Jim Buck is another one of them, that an amazing guy. He's a part of the TMF and everything, and he's been super nice and given us a lot of information about the development of these games that we've never seen before. And even he, to this day, is kind of afraid of like Sony and other developers of these games from like releasing information or like beta discs and stuff like that, just because, he just doesn't want to get in trouble, which is so funny to me. It's almost like the mafia of Sony is out there just always watching their every move and hoping they don't release any filtered information or something like that. It's just really interesting to me. But anyway, so what he said in the chat that really just made my gears start turning like crazy, and I probably scared him off because I started asking a ton of questions, and I was like, oh wow, I'm getting a lot of information here I've never heard before. So he basically just starts going off on the single track guys, which, as you know, single track was David Jaffe, Scott Campbell, all his original developers of the first two games. And I was kind of taken back. I was like, wait, what about single track? Like, what do you mean? And he says that he worked on both TM3 and 4, and that apparently they were limited on which characters they could use in the games. Now, obviously, in TM3 and technically in TM4, we see the original characters. You got Thumper, Roadkill, Sweet Tooth, Spectre. I mean, you got the whole 9 yards in TM3, with a couple new additions, of course. We got Club Kid and Flower Power and whatnot. And then going into TM4 is where they really went off the rails with the new characters, and then they brought back the quote-unquote originals as the boss characters. But he claimed that basically they had to change the name to Super Thumper and Super Augur, Super everything, to not piss off the single-track guys, which I was really shocked to hear that. And basically said that they were told that they couldn't use those characters anymore. And that's when I started asking questions like, wait, so was it like after TM3 release they told you not to use the characters? Or did they tell you that before TM3 and you guys said, fuck it, we're doing it anyway? And then maybe you got in trouble. So then TM4 came around and they knew for a fact they couldn't do that again. And then they got away with it, like a loophole, by putting super in front of the names and making them bosses. My head, my gears are turning like crazy thinking of like all these scenarios, like what could have been the case? Like, what is he talking about? And then, yeah, then he just said, I'm off to go make a new game. And he disappeared. That was the last thing he said in my chat after I was asking all these questions. So I wanted to share this with you guys because, again, I don't want to put him on blast. I hope that this is not making him look like a bad guy. And I hope that if somebody from, you know, one of the Twisted Metal like fandoms goes to David Jaffe and starts saying like, oh, this Nick guy is spewing shit about you guys, saying you guys are assholes. That's not the case at all. I don't know the facts, obviously. I don't know what the case is here. I'm just speculating. But the thing is, it would not surprise me if it came out that like David Jaffe or Scott Campbell or somebody from Single Track made a comment to Sony and said, hey, we know these guys are taking over our place. They're making our game, but for the love of God, don't let them use our children in this game. Like, don't let them use our created characters that we love dearly. And that definitely could have been something that got brought to 989 Studios from Sony, saying like, hey, they said this, and maybe that was the case. And then they just kind of turned around and said, screw it, we're doing it anyway. And then obviously, you know, the backlash they got from Twisted Metal 3 maybe really did not sit right with Single Track, or with the guys from Single Track, I should say. And maybe then they sent them a personal letter that said, in this next one, for the love of God, you are not allowed anymore to use our characters because your games suck. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it probably wasn't worded that way or anything, if this even happened. But it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen, because it kind of feels like maybe they were bullied. And maybe that's why these characters didn't turn out the way that they were supposed to, because they weren't technically allowed to use them. So they tried to change them as much as they could to make it more of quote unquote their own game, if that makes sense. And then of course, you know, to give 99 Studios a little bit more leeway here and to say that it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's fair to hate on them, is again the crunch. I mean, they literally only had 8 months of development time for TM3, and I think TM4 they maybe had like 9 or 10 months. Still not very much. And yeah, it really shows, especially with the writing. I mean, with the endings, of course, are notorious for being terrible. And I'm right there with you. I don't think any of these endings are very good. Some of them are funny and they have their charm to them for sure, and they're memeable. But no, they're not good, especially when you compare them to like Twisted Metal Black endings and stuff like that. So it's just interesting. And that's why I really want to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think this means? Like, what do you think that Kolbe was trying to get across here? And do you think that the Single Track guys, aka like Jaffe or Scott or maybe somebody else from Single Track, really told them, hey, you cannot use our characters. You're not allowed to use your characters. Do not do this. Because at first I was kind of assuming, well, maybe Sony said that, because, you know, Sony owns 99 Studios, or they did. And maybe Sony came to them and said, you're not allowed to use these characters. But the fact that he specifically said it was the Single Track guys, that is what really stands out to me. Is like, wow, the company that basically disbanded to go off and do their own things so that you guys could take over and make Twisted Metal, they came back, or one of the people from them came back, or he said guys, plural, so I'm assuming multiple people came back to, I guess, dispute something or to tell them, no, you can't do this. I just find that so intriguing. And again, this has never been talked about before. I've never heard anyone talk about this before. So I don't know. If somebody can get in touch with Jaffe, maybe send them this video, that'd be awesome. Or just to ask him straight up, like, hey, did you ever tell the 99 guys they were not allowed to use your original characters? And if you did, like, why did you say that? Because I'm really genuinely curious if that was an issue and they had to get some type of permission to finally release these characters, or if they just said, fuck it, we're doing it anyway. We don't care what they think. I don't know. So that's pretty much it with this video. Again, I wanted to get my thoughts out there and talk about this because I really did think it was pretty interesting. And I figured if this wasn't worth the entire video, at least get some updates out there for you guys about the channel and what's going on with the merch store and all that stuff. So yeah, this was a mouthful of a video, a lot of talking involved, and my throat hurts from all the speech. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like, share, support as always for more videos like this. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and we'll hopefully see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.